All right, Rob. Last night, yesterday, the Bills, they look great early, right?
They normally do.
They were making mincemeat,
do.
of a 7-1 team. No matter what you think of the Vikings, they are now they're 8-1. But the Bills were having their way with them, and then just collapsed and lost the game 33-30 in overtime, and some strange happenings. I mean, Josh Allen fumbling at the 1 inch, the ball's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inch line. And I did think, and I'm not making an excuse for him, but I remember I was looking at that play and I was just like, that's a challenge. I didn't think the snap would be the challenge, but I was like, it is the defense has a shot to get a safety. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like being even at the 1 where you got a little breathing room. Like, they were right on the goal line. And a safety wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world because they were up 5 or something like that. And they ended up giving up the touchdown. Or maybe they were up 7, whatever it was. Rob G enlightened me on those facts. But, and lo and behold, Josh Allen drops the ball or mishandles the snap. And that was his 3rd turnover of the game. He had two interceptions in the red zone. And Rob, I want to say this. I don't know if you'll agree or not. I spoke about Josh Allen today on First Things First, and I made 2 comps. And one, I feel good about this because Rod Woodson said it just when we talked to him last hour, and he and I hadn't talked about it. But I said, number one, it looks like Patrick Mahomes last year. You talk about it all the time. Remember the 7-game stretch when Mahomes had 10 interceptions, at least one in each game.
And it was shocking. Right.
Yeah, right. In a 4-game stretch, he had 7 interceptions and 2 in 3 of those 4. He had 2 each in 3 of the 4 games. And that was because he was trying to make, the big play like he had been done for most of his career.
You don't always have to.
Instead of just taking the check down and the easy stuff. And he learned that over the second half of the season, and obviously things got better. I think that's what's happening with Josh Allen. He is going for all the big stuff. Rob, at the end of the game, they were clearly in field goal range. And he couldn't stop himself for going for the gusto, and he throws that interception. And so I hope he'll learn like Mahomes did, and by the playoffs, he'll kind of have rid himself of that tendency. So there's that comp. And then this one, Rob, I think, and maybe it'll change. Again, if he takes the route of Mahomes, he may move out of this. But right now, Rob, I think he's like a new age version of Brett Favre.
Wow. Who's the all-time interception
leader
kid.
In interception. And obviously an all-time great player.
Remember,
a Hall of Famer.
Right, he won
3-time MVP, 3 straight.
And 3 straight
and
MVPs,
Bowl,
and potentially going to do jail time because as a criminal.
Well, right. I mean, on the field, like Brett Favre. Hopefully nothing like him off the field.
I'm just saying, like potentially, Chris.
Right.
There could be issues.
In terms of Favre was obviously great, but you had to live with his recklessness.
And Chris,
that was a part of what made him great, right?
But let's just be honest. I mean, this is the thing about Brett Favre that people don't really talk about. And you're right about the interceptions. But Chris, you know how many playoff games ended where Brett Favre threw a pick at the end, throwing
absolutely,
like unbelievable.
Yep.
His last one. Rob G, when he was with the Vikings, you remember his career? I think that ended on a pick thrown across his body, Chris.
I think I remember that.
Across the field, that's like the first thing they teach you. Don't throw across like that. And he did it, and it was a pick. And I don't know how many playoff games ended with a Brett Favre pick at the end, but a number.
Rob, he was a straight up gunslinger.
Right.
That's
an accurate term.
You didn't know if it was going to be good or if it was going to be bad. I mean, obviously more often than not, it was good, or he wouldn't have become a Hall of Famer. He won a Super Bowl. He got to 2. He won 3 MVPs. And Rob, here's the thing. His 3 MVP years, over 17 games, if you increase the 16 to 17, his average season was 40 touchdowns, 15 picks. Josh Allen, the last 3 years, including this one, projected over 17. Average season, 38 touchdowns, 14 picks. So I think there's, and it's similar, like what makes Allen great is his throw caution to the wind, attitude. And even yesterday, Rob, you saw when he's playing with a bad elbow and he's running people over, right? He's not sliding. He's running into defenders when he scrambles, or forget scrambling, when he runs. Yeah, and I think they've got, if I'm Buffalo, I'm trying to make him, make better decisions. But I do think that a part of it is who he is, and there may always be some of that there. So like I said, I think he's like Brett Favre. Do you agree with that comp?
Yeah, I mean, he
obviously is not exact.
Right. I was going to say, like he hopes that he's Brett Favre. I mean, if you win a Super Bowl, Chris, and get 3 MVPs, right.
You can win with a gunslinger. But
the only thing is, nowadays, I don't know if you win a MVP with that many interceptions. Because passing is such a big deal. It's not like in those days where they did. Well, those years, I mean, you're right. I mean, now to have 15, but still, it's a lot.
That was low for Favre.
Right.
That difference between touchdowns. No,
he used to have 22. I mean,
and he sometimes he had more interceptions than touchdowns.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So.
And I don't mean that'll be Allen. I agree. No. You can't do that today.
Not today, because you throw the ball too much.
Right.
And you just can't have that many interceptions, and the better ones. Even Mahomes before really last year, his was always in single numbers. Him, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't break the record, right? Did he come short
for interceptions?
He had a 400. Rob G, what did he have? He needed 400.
No, he's not.
403. Well, he was.
Oh, you're talking about a pass is
without an
passes without. No, he fell short. He fell 3 short.
Wow, I was going to say he was. I know he was close to breaking Rodgers' record.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what I was saying. Like the really good quarterbacks in this league don't throw a ton of interceptions.
No.
If you're good,
even Mahomes, that wasn't a ton. It wasn't close to the number of touchdowns he threw.
No. But
Favre's third season, Rob, 19 touchdowns, 24 picks. Yeah. Another season, 99. So he's well into his prime, or in his prime at that point. 22 touchdowns, 23 picks.
That was a year I think he cost. Who was the brother who was the coach there? Oh God. From Philly. Oh, my God.
Ray Rhodes,
Chris.
Yep.
He cost him his job. He only had 1 year there. Do you know that?
Yep.
And he had a
1 year Favre had 20 touchdowns, 29 picks.
Yeah. I mean, that was.
So, you can't do that today. Like, Jameis got ridiculed.
For 30.
What was it, 33 touchdowns, 30 picks?
Yep. Ridiculed.
Yep.
And Brett Favre was a Hall of Famer, and obviously won 3 MVPs, so we're in a row. So.
And we're not. Here's the thing again for the youngsters out there. The reason, and he was, he had more picks than anybody in the history of the game, but the game was different. Quarterbacks could get clocked.
Totally
receivers
different.
could get clocked. Right, so that's why you can look at we talk about this all the time, right? You can look at any of the old legends, and their numbers won't look great compared.
You'll be like, what?
Today.
Like that's it?
There's a handful, maybe Marino, a couple you can look at. But they don't. The numbers.
And that's why Marino was so touted, Chris, despite never winning anything, because his numbers were so good in that era where where quarterbacks didn't put up those kind of numbers.
It would have been like somebody shooting threes like. Close to like Steph Curry in the 90s.
Right.
Or the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
They would have said, that guy's a fool. What's he doing out there?
Right. It was that different. So